come up. Next, Peter Serena Jr. Next, Michelle Finnegan. Next, James Jones. Next, Pancho Messier. Next honoree is Matthew Rader. Next, Craig Robinson. Next, Roger Sanders. Okay, Sheila, that doesn't look like my Okay, next is Brian Scott. Walt, you have to do. Then my alternate Snyder comes after Scott. Walt Snyder. Guy Stewart. Last we have Jenny Stewart Bertaggi. You will be called to the buffet line on table. Inductees, you can sit down and take your paper. Okay, we're not going to, Paul, is the buffet line ready? I guess so. I don't know if she wants me to tell you how long.
Too long.
But for about 3 decades, she retired as one of the premier field hockey coaches in the state of Pennsylvania. She didn't stay retired for long, although. She's back at it at Central Bucks South now. She will be the new field hockey at Central Bucks South. I don't know if that's the official announcement. But please welcome Pat Toner.
You might think that it's an honor to be the MC, but I came late to the meeting and it became my job. But I'm thrilled to do it. It's my pleasure to introduce the inductees. Our first inductee, Nancy Almond Oliver. Nan was a 12-letter athlete at Bristol High School in field hockey, basketball, and softball. She attended East Stroudsburg University, where she was a 4-year starter in field hockey and received many honors and awards. Upon graduation, Nan coached field hockey and basketball at Woodrow Wilson and Delhas High Schools. She started the varsity sports program for girls at Steinert High School in New Jersey and officiated field hockey and basketball at the highest levels in both high school and college. Nan was also inducted into the Bristol High Hall of Fame. We are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame as a legend, Nancy Almond Oliver.
Good evening, everyone. I'm sure everybody's having a great time as I am. And I would like to thank Pantona for the introduction. And now a few words. Okay. Loud? I am loud. I would like to thank Ginny Napolitano for putting my name forward for this honor, and I would also like to thank the members of the Hall of Fame Committee for bestowing this great honor to me. I extend congratulations to all my fellow inductees. I was not quite sure what a legend is, so I checked with my new best friend, Siri, to define the word, and she said I am historical, but not authenticated. So I guess that means that I can prove I am an antique. In fact, I'm a half century and 3 decades old, according to my birth certificate. However, if you look at the other side of the situation, I'm extremely happy that I am not yet history. Because when I would be here to celebrate with all of you at this fantastic event. One never garners an honor such as this without a dedicated support team. My parents encouraged me to participate in whatever activities I was interested in, and they never missed a game or event that I was involved in, and my mom cooked spaghetti dinners for my teammates, coach, and me after every game on our schedule. My Bristol gym teacher and coach, Barb Yorkis Mitchell, who is around the room here somewhere, Barb Yorkis Mitchell, who is also a Bucks County Hall of Fame legend, is in the house tonight somewhere. And Bob taught us sports skills, practice, and individual skills, which translated into teamwork and strategies. Along with that, she emphasized sportsmanship and kept positive attitudes. So I thank you, Barb, for laying the foundation for any success that I have ever achieved. To Bristol and East Stroudsburg teammates, fellow faculty members, sports officials, and dear friends, you too have made this night possible. And in today's world, it is my daughter Laura and my son Todd who provide me with the game plans consisting of X's and O's, except now the symbols represent hugs and kisses. In the days of old, when school was not in session, we played games like hoops, kick the cans, stickball, tag, hide and seek, mostly in the streets in Bristol, from early morning until dusk, until the dreaded call from Mom gave from the front porch, letting you know it was time to come home for dinner and a bath. Then in September, we played field hockey, football, or band, if that was your thing. In winter, it was basketball and wrestling, and come March, it was time to grab bats and balls or run, throw, and jump on the track teams. We did not have to dedicate our lives to one sport. Some of us played all 3, and as a girl, if you liked boys in cute outfits, you could also letter in cheerleading. Today, many teens are only proficient in exercising their thumbs and fingers. I wonder, can you give a varsity letter for texting? Some of you may hear us older folks speak about how fortunate we are to have lived in the post-Depression era, what we refer to as the good old days. Some of you here tonight we have watched and cheered for on the playing field, mat, or court, and that was always an enjoyable thing for us to see. To you youngsters out there, set your goals, follow them, and perhaps one day you too will be standing here as a Bucks County Hall of Fame inductee. I truly appreciate this awesome honor. Go Warriors. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Peter Semino, Jr. Pete was a two-sport star at Bristol High School. He was a forward on the basketball team and a pitcher on the baseball team. He is best known for scoring 114 points in a basketball game against Palisades High School. This achievement was a Pennsylvania and national record at that time. Pete was named to the Pennsylvania All-State basketball team and received the Courier Times Athlete of the Year award. He continued to play baseball and signed a contract with the Washington Senators in 1960. He progressed through the minor leagues until he was called up to the Minnesota Twins in 1963. He spent several years as a reliever for the Twins and was traded to the California Angels in 1966. We are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Peter Semino, Jr.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank the election committee for selecting me to the County Hall of Fame. I'd also like to thank my family and my friends for being here tonight, and to congratulate all the other members of the Hall of Fame this evening. If I may, I'd just like to say a few words about the three electees that I know here tonight, namely Pancho Messier, who I played against in an adult basketball league, and he was practically unstoppable, to say the least.
When he wasn't fouling you.
And Jimmy Jones, who was my teammate on the Bristol High basketball team. Jimmy was known as a great track athlete, but I remember watching him run around the track practicing, and he had one of the greatest strides you could ever want to see. It was incredible to watch Jimmy. He was a great runner. And finally, Roger Sanders, who I know was a state wrestling champion, but I knew Roger playing against him in a baseball all-star game, and to this day, he swears he hit a home run off me. But somehow, I just can't remember that. Now, I know everybody says today's athletes are bigger, stronger, and better than they used to be, and I, for one, believe that. But the one thing that hasn't changed is desire and determination. People like Bob Libator, Bob Hart, and what's his name? Dick Hart and Dick Kratz. That's what I was trying to think about. They all had it, and just to name a few of them, and even the coaches at that time were motivated, like Chick D'Angelo, Don Poland, and Irv Olin, just to name a few of them. Now, I know in today's world, a lot of parents go to their children's activities, sporting events, and such, and that is a good thing. It shows that you are interested in what your children are doing, and that you care. And I know when I was playing sports, my parents always tried to be there at every event that I was in, and that meant a lot to me at the time. I only have one regret this evening, is that they can't be here tonight. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Michelle Finnegan. Michelle was a standout athlete in field hockey, basketball, and softball at William Tennant High School. At the University of Delaware, she scored the winning goal in the AIAW Nationals, securing third place for her team. Following graduation, Michelle played field hockey on the USA national team and competed in Germany, Canada, Holland, Australia, Wales, and England, and in the USA American Cup in 1985. Michelle coached at St. Joe's University, and in her 10-year tenure as head coach, she led her teams to 7 consecutive Atlantic 10 tournament appearances, 2 championship game appearances, and over 100 wins. Michelle also coached at Lehigh University and is currently the head coach at Central Bucks East High School. We are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Michelle Finnegan.
Thank you very much. Pat Toner has been teasing me all night that I have to come up here and sing the alma mater for my high school. So, no, I'm not going to do it. But thank you, very humorous. I coach at Central Bucks East currently, and I'm really thrilled that Pat has just been announced as the coach for Central Bucks South. My niece will be playing for her as well, so it's very exciting in the sporting world for field hockey. But I also know quite a few people here. It's a small world in sports. I know Pancho Messier's daughter, Emily. I coached her at St. Joe's, which is kind of neat. And then I also know Jenny Stewart through her playing at Penn State. And it's just a really neat thing when you're in sports. You know a lot of people. Brian Scott was awarded the Hall of Fame at Central Bucks East this fall. And I was there also honoring Lauren Crandall, another field hockey athlete. So it's really cool. But I really want to first thank the committee who selected me for this award, and Karen Sangilo for thinking enough of my career to nominate me for the award. I'm honored to be receiving this alongside many others who have achieved success in their athletic careers. Congratulations to everybody being inducted tonight and their families. My family is here today supporting me, which is extremely special. Growing up in the Riley family was an adventure. One of 6 kids, a neighborhood of large families surrounding us. It made me who I am today. My parents made plenty of sacrifices to allow our family to stay in our neighborhood in Warminster, Bucks County, where we gathered often to compete against one another in all kinds of sports. And I want to thank my parents, Jack and Nancy Riley. They've done a lot for all of us. The best game growing up that we played in our basement was called handball, and it's not the Olympic handball sport, but the game that we created. There were 2 goals, 1 ball about the size of a softball, and it was plastic, and you had to kneel and hit it into the goal cage at either end of the basement. We had a great time, 2 people or 1 person on a team, and you had to pick a country to represent. During the time that we played, my one brother, who has since passed, Jim, used to be the commentator, and he would cheer for us and give play-by-play. We thought he was going to be a sports announcer, but he was very fun to listen to. We had the whole neighborhood sitting on the stairs in the basement watching us, and we would spend weekends playing in tournaments, handball, the Riley's house. So it was really a lot of fun, and that's probably the beginning of when I became very interested in sports. My sports background continued throughout high school and college, when I had the desire to make the Olympics. And without the support of my family, there's no way I would have had a chance. But from my parents who drove me, encouraged and supported me, along with my brothers and sisters who accepted my dedication to sports, which many times caused conflicts with family scheduling. My family was always there to support me and encourage my dedication to field hockey. This included trips to Syracuse for the National Sports Festival, many trips to the airport, the U.S. national team competitions in Boston, Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and even a sibling trip to Canada in a Winnebago. So it also included my family running alongside me while I ran the torch in 1984 for the Olympic Games. So thank you to my siblings who are all here, Jack, Ruth, Maureen, Jim who's passed, and Joe. So thank you guys. In 1985, I was working in Utah as an engineer, and I was asked to move back into the Philadelphia area to train for the U.S. national field hockey team. When I did this, again, my parents stepped up. I moved back home, and I had a job where I worked at a company called Semcor, and this is where I met my future husband, John. So I guess it's a good thing. I played all through 1986 when we decided to get married, and we raised our children. 7 of us navigated through my continued passion for field hockey. Mostly coaching, but I did come out of retirement for 1 year after having Brianna, and she went with me to Virginia. We trained, and a lot of my family gave up a lot for me to play in sports. So I want to thank Colleen, Sean, Morgan, Brianna, and Riley, who are also all here tonight. Thanks, guys. My coaching career was the next step as an assistant at Archbishop Wood, where I stopped by on the way home from my engineering job to help out, and then it followed that with 25 years of combined Division I coaching at St. Joe's and Lehigh University. Currently, I'm running a youth field hockey club, FSC, in the Bucks and Montgomery counties, while I'm also coaching at Central Bucks East. Coaching has been a great opportunity for me to share my knowledge and mentor young athletes throughout their career, and it has been so rewarding to watch so many college athletes and now high school and club athletes compete on the field. Being around young athletes allows you to stay young. The interaction and opportunity to help direct athletes to be the best they can be, set goals, and achieve them is very, very rewarding, and I feel blessed to be able to pursue that as a career. Lastly, I would like to thank my husband, John, who is the #1 believer in what I do and my ability. He has supported me through a return to the national team, through many years of dedicating a large portion of my time to the sport of field hockey. Thank you and love you, John. Again, it is an honor to receive this award for something that you love to do. Coaching has been and will hopefully continue to be enjoyable to pay it forward, and things that I've learned from those coaches who shared their passion with me. Thank you very much for this honor.
Is Wayne Hellman. The late Wayne Hellman was a Penridge High School football and track and field coach, an athletic director, and a PIAA official. As Penridge High's first football coach in 1954, he led his teams to 6 Bucksmont titles and 3 undefeated seasons. He also coached the track and field team to 2 Bucksmont titles. Wayne graduated from Lansdale High School, where he captained the football and basketball teams and was a champion high jumper. He went on to the University of Pennsylvania, where he played football. In 1982, he retired from coaching and became athletic director at Penridge. For 56 years, Wayne was a respected PIAA track and field, cross-country, and swimming official. We're pleased to present Wayne Hellman for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame. Accepting for Mr. Hellman is John Chong.
I'm sure Wayne Hellman's family is very appreciative of this honor. Wayne is more than a legend in the Central Bucks. I didn't know Wayne, but I can relate to what he did. He was, from my background, the Harry Franks of Penridge, a newly formed jointure school. He started the school, the program, and went on from football and every other sport, became athletic director. Even when he retired, he went back and coached a middle school team for a year. Wayne's family couldn't be here tonight. I will send this award to them, and thank you very much for the honor.
Our next inductee is James Jones. James excelled in football, basketball, baseball, and track at Bristol High School. In 1957, he was the Lower Bucks County Mile Champion, establishing a new record. He placed 3rd at the PIAA Championships in the mile and the 800 meters. In 1958, he was named to the All-County football team. In the spring, he was the PIAA state champion in the 800 meters and placed 2nd in the mile. The following year, James won the 800 meters and the mile, and also entered the 440 relay team at the District 1 Championships. He repeated the same results at the state championships with less than a 2-hour break between events. In 1977, James became the track and field coach at Bristol High School and later the cross-country coach. He received many league honors as Coach of the Year in both sports. During his coaching tenure, he coached 18 District 1 champions and many state medal placement winners. James was inducted into the Bristol High School Hall of Fame in 1988. And we are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame as a legend, James Jones.
First of all, give an honor to God. If it wasn't for Him, I would not be here. Where do I start? It's great to be honored for doing things at that time when we were young that we love to do. And running is one thing that I just love to do. Being so much so that it enabled me to come back and coach at Bristol High School, which in a way is giving back to the community which I so love and where I was raised and born at. It's been an honor to mentor to most of the young kids that I had coming through. I had worked for the Bristol Borough School District for about 19 years, and it was just a great honor. But most important is when I did come into coaching, which I do love, is to have coaches like Mike Lawley, Mr. George Gatto, Mr. Mike Gerard there to help me, to assist me, giving me guidance and helping me along my way. I truly thank the Bucks County Hall of Fame for giving me this honor, and I thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Pancho Messier. There have been many great athletes at Bishop Egan High School, and one of the very best is Pancho Messier. In football, Pancho was named first team All-Catholic and was the MVP of the city title game in 1966. His other awards included first team All-Scholastic, Kroll Award as the outstanding scholastic football player in the Delaware Valley, Maxwell Club Award, and the Newt Rockney Award. He was also named the National Football Foundation Student Athlete of the Year and honorable mention All-American. Pancho attended the University of Pennsylvania, where he continued his accomplishments in football. He led the Ivy League in passing and total offense in 1970. He was the team's MVP and the Daily Pennsylvanian Football Player of the Year. During his coaching career in the Pennsbury School District, Pancho's teams achieved more than 20 undefeated seasons, with 13 consecutive in football. We're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Pancho Messier.
Good evening. This is, by my count, the 8th of these Bucks County Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. I've been to 7 of them, and they've been one of my favorite nights. I love to hear people talk about growing up in Bucks County. I like to hear them talk about their sports memories, and I like to hear them thank all the people that played such a big part in making those memories. Tonight I'm honored, privileged, humbled to be able to tell my story. Good luck on the 4-minute rule though, Pat. And, I bought 2 from Pete and 2 from Jimmy, so maybe we'll just be close to being on schedule. My wife says when it comes to talking sports, I can talk to a broom for half an hour. I do want to, before I look back and give thanks, give a present day thanks to the committee, all you guys, John, Pat, Sheila, past ones, Joe and Hal, Ricky, Big Tom. The work you do putting these things together is amazing, and you do it for two reasons: love of sport and love of Bucks County, and I think that's really cool. So I think you guys all deserve a round of applause from us. So. Somebody told, Frank McSherry told me to do that to get some applause going. Now on to my story. I was born a poor black child. That Steve Martin movie, The Jerk, is a great opening line. I love that movie. No, I got to go back to before I was born, when the early 1900s, when my father and his parents came over from Yugoslavia, Croatia today, to this country. My dad was only 13, didn't even finish 8th grade, spoke no English, and went right to work in a steel mill in Western PA. Many times he told me that everything he knew about the country, everything he learned from the language to the people to the culture, he learned from two places. His job at the steel mill and his football team, the Etna Sycamores. They were one of those semi-pro teams from the 1920s and 30s. I wasn't around, but I've seen pictures of them. And, you know, every player looked like Jim Thorpe with those pancake hip pads and those helmets without face masks, the cardboard thin ones. My dad used to tell me after the game they would fold them up, put them in their pocket, use them for wallets. I don't know if he's kidding or not, but anyway, I got to thank first off my dad and his parents, my grandparents, for having the guts to come to this country just to make a better life for themselves and for their future descendants. And I got to thank the Etna Sycamores for starting the Nasir family love affair with sports. Fast forward to 1953, when my mom and dad brought their young family to Bucks County, a new development, Levittown. Yeah, that's the first mention of Mom. Every athlete's biggest fan, most loyal fan. Not always the most knowledgeable, though. Here's a direct quote. "Punch, I don't think you threw badly today. I just think your receivers weren't running where you were throwing the ball." Mom, I miss you. I love you. Thanks. Thanks for everything. Back to Levittown in the 50s. Our street was Almond Lane in the apple tree section. Little Half Moon Street, about 20 houses. Seemed like about 50 kids. As a kid in Levittown, you had two jobs. Do your homework and play. Once in a while, we did our homework. God, did we play. We chose up fair sides. We played football, baseball, basketball, stickball, kickball, wireball, blockball, dodgeball, killed a man with a ball, and ping pong, which had a ball. So did we. So my next thank you goes out to my first ever teammates, and actually opponents, the kids of Almond Lane. Family names that you might be familiar with if you're from around Bucks County. It was the McConnells, the Coxes, the Schweikers, the Sweeneys, the Marringtons, the Litwins. Just great people. And while I'm thanking my earliest teammates, I got to thank my most important, my brother Matthew. Foo is his nickname. He turned out to be a pretty good offensive guard, just like his father was. He was all Catholic at Egan, later went on to play at Lafayette. When Phil was my teammate when we were younger, he always brought out the best in me, especially if we were underdogs. Come on, Punch, we can beat these guys. And when he was on the other team, it really brought out my best because nobody wants to lose to their little brother. So Matthew, thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for bringing all the juice, all the inspiration. You've been a big part of any athletic success I've ever had. We leave Almond Lane to go play our Little League baseball, Pop Warner football, CYO hoops. Our coach was always somebody's dad on the team. Got to thank all those dads, Mr. Startzel, Mr. Ryder, Mr. Evans. You know, they taught us fundamentals, but boy, they taught us about love of sport and sacrifice, to do their jobs up by day and come right to practice for 2 hours, go home to reheated suppers. So I cry over that reheated supper too. So just thanks to those dads and the moms running the snack stands, ladies auxiliary, so we'd have enough for money for equipment and uniforms. From there, it was high school, Bishop Egan, where our coach was no longer somebody's dad on the team, but rather the man who, along with our own fathers, was our most important male role model in our young lives, Mr. Dick Bettison, the legend. Coach Bettison and his amazing staff. We miss Father Fidelis here tonight. He's been to, I think, every one of these but tonight. But Father, Phil Lanto, Joe DeVito, Pete Bratt, they taught us under Coach's direction the real lessons of team sport. Unity, sacrifice, attention to detail, preparation. mastery through repetition. Run it again, punch. Run it again, punch. Run it again, punch. Think you got it? Good. Run it again, do it a little quicker this time. You know, so Coach Pedersen, though, he was a phenomenon. He was unbelievable. We loved him, we respected him. I think it came from his fire, his passion, but even more, I think he had a little leprechaun in him. He was always had a bounce in his step, a gleam in his eye, and he made us laugh. Monsieur, you've got what coaches call deceptive speed. You're slower than you look. Thanks a lot, Coach. But I mean it. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for everything. We all owe Coach Pedersen a debt that we can never repay, but that's why so many of us have tried to pay it forward by becoming coaches, teachers, and fathers. 1966 was our senior season, and it was a magical one. I tell my Pennsbury math students, do the math. 66, 50 years ago. Oh my God, what happened? How did I get so old? I got a table full of teammates back there from 66 Egan, and you know, we get together at these things. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. You look good. We don't look good. Our eyes are all going bad at the same rate. So our eyes are going bad. We don't walk too well. Our memories are gone. Where's the remote? I had the remote. Where's that remote? Oh, here it is. How come this button doesn't work? Dad, that's a cell phone. Yeah. Our memories are gone, but the memories of Egan, 66, that senior year, it's sharpened our brain, burned into our brains. Our captain, Jack Lyons, back there said before, we'll carry those memories to our graves. So you guys, always great to see individually, but even better to see as a group back there. I think Coach would be smiling looking down. If he taught us anything about team, it's that everybody matters. We're all equals. We're all equally important. And my brothers, thank you for coming tonight. We shared something really special. We always will. I left Egan to play at the University of Pennsylvania, Franklin Field, for the Fighting Quakers, oxymoronic mascot, and there was one. I got a roommate, a teammate, a fellow engineer, a fellow Croatian, a fellow Pittsburgher, a fellow it's all the same guy, Paul Vasoki, who's here tonight. Thanks for coming, Paul. After Penn, I went to work as an engineer and left Bucks County for a few years, but once again, the interconnection, sports, the magic, a Sunday morning conversation as a softball game led me to Temple's Graduate School of Education and eventually a job at Pennsbury, where I was lucky enough to teach and coach for 34 years. Trying to teach and coach as I've been taught and coached, attention to detail, mastery through repetition, and what I hope with a sense of humor. I got to thank all my kids that I coached over the years, one of whom, Matt Rader's going into the hall tonight. Congratulations, Matt. And alongside of me during all those years of teaching were some great educators, some unbelievable people. Guy Stewart from Pennsbury's going in the hall tonight. Guy's Pennsbury through and through. You cut him, he bleeds orange and black. I'd be remiss, I can't mention them all, but one of my best friends, Big Frankie McSherry's here. Joe Linsky, Cliff Stout, Jim Chapman, great people, great teachers, great coaches, all of them. And I also we have a missing seat at our table tonight. The first man I ever coached with at Pennsbury, Joe Warren. We coached football together, and Joe's kind of a legend in Pennsbury in the Hall of Fame. He had a ticket for tonight, and he passed away suddenly yesterday. So keep Joe's family in your prayers, and Joe, anybody that knows Joe loved him, he's going to be missed. The whole time I was teaching at Pennsbury, I still was playing the role of a Levittown kid, refusing to stop playing, refusing to grow up, like one of Peter Pan's Lost Boys. I played every sport you could think of in Bucks County, from touch football, George, to basketball, softball. So many teammates to thank. I already got a shout out from Pete Semino tonight. We played softball together before that basketball league on a pretty good Stows team, and he mentioned playing in a basketball league. Well, 114 points in a game. I guarded him one night. He didn't get a 114 off me, I'll tell you that. I held him to like 75. I fouled the crap out of him, you know. Typical of Pete, he didn't even say anything. He just kept making shots, you know. So, but so many teammates. Again, too many to mention. But I got a couple back there: Bernie McElderry, Johnny McGrath. We've played team sports together for over 45 years. And sorry if I woke you two guys. I know it's getting past your bedtime back there. But and finally, at the end of my playing days, I got my biggest thrill in sports when I got to watch my two daughters play 3 sports each up in Council Rock. One of them got to play for Pat. Both of them went on to be Division I athletes. Emily at St. Joe's, where again, connection. She played field hockey for Michelle Finnegan. Congratulations, Michelle, on your induction, and especially for putting up with Emily for 3 years. Addie went on to make her mark as a student and an athlete at Princeton, a basketball player. She played in Europe for a couple of years, and now she's coaching at Dartmouth. Not just their accomplishment, but I've always been so proud of the way they went at their games. They were such good teammates. Never once did I see you disrespect your sport, disrespect an opponent, a teammate, a coach. As for dissing your father, though, that's a whole nother story, especially when it came to what I was wearing. Living in a family with 3 ladies, getting out of the house sometime was like trying to sneak by Joan Rivers and the fashion police on the red carpet. Mom, Dad's going out, look what he's wearing. What? I thought this hat made me look spiffy. That hat makes you look like Elmer Fudd. And don't ever use the word spiffy around any of our friends. Thanks, girls, though, seriously. Thanks for being so good. Thanks for making me so proud. And I guess thanks for all the fashion tips. One last person to thank. I know Pat's looking at her watch. She's going to cue up that Academy Award music to get me off this mic. But one person, my wife Annie. Annie and I have been married for over 30 years. She wasn't around for the glory years, the glory days of high school and college, but she's heard enough stories. But she's been amazing during those years of coaching, teaching, and refusing to stop playing. What really amazed me is how uninterested and unimpressed she was by anything I could do athletically. Unimpressed by my athletic achievement and totally depressed by my achievement around the house and home repair. You heard of Mr. Fix-It? She calls me Mr. Bust-It. But Pancho, you have an engineering degree from the University of Pennsylvania. Annie, I told you, they gave me a diploma, not a toolbox. And when I say I'll fix something, I'll fix it. You don't have to remind me about it every 6 months or so. But really, Annie, thanks. Thanks for putting up with me all those years. Thanks for keeping the home fires burning. Thanks for putting up with the stupid jokes. Thanks for raising 2 wonderful kids. Thanks for all the chicken parm. And love you. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Looking back, getting ready for tonight, all the people in my life, I just realized how lucky I've been. I kind of feel like Jimmy Stewart is George Bailey, it's not Bedford Falls, it's Bucks County, but it really has been a wonderful life. It's been a wonderful sporting life. Thanks to any of you that played a role. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. Good night.
At Pennsbury High School, Matt achieved excellence in the sports of football, basketball, and baseball. In football, he was first team All-State and first team All-League. The Bucks County Courier Times, the Trentonian, and the Trenton Times all named him as Player of the Year. Matt received the Maxwell Club Award and was named the National Football Foundation North MVP, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles Bucks County MVP. In baseball, he was also named Player of the Year in Bucks County, First Team All-League, and Philadelphia Inquirer First Team. As a basketball player, Matt was a member of the All-County team and All-League First Team. At Duke University, Matt started in baseball and football. He transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he led the university to the Ivy League title in football. He was the Maxwell Club Team MVP and was the Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Year. Following graduation, Matt has played on the USA Rugby team. He's a member of the Pennsbury Hall of Fame, and we're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Matt Rader.
I'll get us back on schedule tonight. Good evening. I want to thank you for the membership of the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame for selection into the 2016 class. I also want to congratulate my fellow inductees. It's an honor we will cherish for the rest of our lives. When I moved to Bucks County from Texas in the 5th grade, I did not know what to expect. Nearly 30 years later, I can honestly say it is a county and community second to none. It is a county rich in history, tradition, legacies, and excellence. I would like to introduce a few people who have joined me tonight and share the achievement of this award. First, my family, many of whom traveled great lengths to be here. My wife of 9 years, Stephanie, and our son, Jackson, thank you for your continued love and support. I'm glad you get to meet some of the people who had major influence in my life. My dad, David, and his wife, Robbie, they traveled from Texas this week, as that was the norm in high school and college. Thank you for being here one more time. My mom, Beth, and her husband, Jack, they have recently moved back into the area. Their affinity for Bucks County sports is unparalleled. They both spent countless hours in transit to practices and camps, and I don't recall a game they did not attend. My sister Jessica, who also lives in the area, is a Pennsbury alum. She played collegiate volleyball at Westchester University and is currently a special needs teacher in Bristol Township. My father-in-law, John Christie, and his wife, Susan, they arrived from Florida this morning and have become incredible friends and grandparents. Okay, sorry. They arrived from Florida this morning and become incredible friends and grandparents. John was also a quarterback in college, so I'm hoping between the both of us, Jackson is all set. Second, I'd like to introduce my friends, all of whom I have known since I moved to Bucks County in 1987. Randy Larson, member of the Pennsbury Athletic Hall of Fame. She played collegiate softball at Penn State and currently works in the athletics department at Rutgers University. Chris Gage, captain and catcher of the Pennsbury baseball team. We shared many championships together, including one with Coach Pancho Becerra, who was just inducted. Chris is currently a successful investment advisor in Newtown. Michael Minner, member of the Pennsbury Athletic Hall of Fame. He is joined by his parents, Charlie and Dottie Minner. Michael excelled in all sports, but made a name for himself on the golf course, finishing in the top 5 twice in the state tournament, and later took his talents to Florida State University. Mike is also a successful investment advisor and currently resides in Washington Crossing. Being a 3-sport athlete, I was fortunate to touch many areas of Pennsbury athletics. One of my favorite people I came across was Ray Angle, who's here tonight. He was my middle school physical education teacher. During my tenure, Ray was a role model for young athletes in the school district. For those of you who know Ray, I use the term role model very loosely. He put in the extra effort to provide a platform to make young, aspiring athletes successful. He opened the gym early in the morning and stayed late in the after school to run drills, preparing us for the move up to the varsity ranks. Another favorite of mine was Pancho Becerra, my 9th grade football coach, who we just heard a lot from. Pancho's enthusiasm and contagious personality always won over the players. He has a passion for winning and for pickup basketball. Always the captain and always stacking his team. Pancho introduced me to Ivy League football, taking our team to numerous games at Palmer Stadium and watching the likes of future NFL players Keith Elias and Jay Fiedler. Halfway through my collegiate career, I was fortunate to play for Al Bagnoli and the University of Pennsylvania. Al won 9 Ivy League championships in his 23 years at the helm, including one my senior year. Larry Woods was the quarterback's coach for the majority of those championships, and Ray Peoria was the defensive coordinator. I would like to thank both of them for joining me tonight. In 2015, his 29th year at Penn, Ray took over as head coach and won the Ivy League title, while also being named the Ivy League Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Coach. This night is a reunion of sorts for me. I was able to catch up with old friends, coaches, and teammates, some that I have not seen for over 20 years. I am thankful for having the opportunity to commemorate our combined accomplishments, and I look forward to representing Bucks County in the Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you again for giving me that honor.
Our next inductee, Craig Robinson. At Council Rock High School, Craig was a member of the varsity football, basketball, and baseball teams. He was named to the LBCL All-League First Team in baseball and football, and was also selected as Player of the Year in football. Craig continued to play baseball at Wake Forest University, where he was named to the All-ACC team as a shortstop. He was drafted by the Phillies in 1970. After playing in the minor leagues for 3 years, he played shortstop for the Phillies, Atlanta Braves, and the San Francisco Giants. Craig continued as a coach and manager in AA and AAA minor leagues. We're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Craig Robinson.
I'd like to thank everybody in the committee for the honor and the recognition for some really fun times I had in Bucks County that sometimes I can't even remember. But it's a very nice award. I'm very appreciative of it. And I'd like to just relate a short anecdote. If my father, who passed away 27 years ago, had been here, probably would already have related to everybody in the room. In 1974, I was a starting shortstop for the Atlanta Braves in Fulton County Stadium, playing on a team where Hank Aaron was chasing Babe Ruth's home run record. We opened the home season down in Atlanta against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Al Downing was the starting pitcher. Eddie Matthews was the manager of the Atlanta Braves at that time. And I was the starting shortstop. So in the third inning, I singled up the middle, and we were playing in front of a national television audience. My family and friends were all watching on TV. And was on first base in the third inning, and everybody was pretty happy that I had gotten a hit finally. And Al Downing promptly picked me off first base. At that time, they got out of the inning, and I was called over to in the dugout by my manager, Eddie Matthews, and said, "Craig, I'd like you to sit here for the rest of the game and watch with me." So they put in a replacement, and I then watched the rest of the game along with a national television audience and saw Hank top Babe Ruth's record of 715 home runs, which was basically a highlight of my career and a tremendous thrill to be a part of. So again, I thank everybody and my mom and my sister and my brother-in-law Dave for being here to support me, and peace be with you.
Our next inductee is Roger Sanders. Roger is one of the most outstanding wrestlers in Lower Bucks County, winning the LBCL championship 3 times while losing only 1 dual meet. He was a District 1 champion twice at Westchester State College. He continued his wrestling success, never losing a dual meet in 4 years. He was Middle Atlantic University Division champion on 3 occasions, the NCAA College Division champion in '63-64. He was named an NCAA All-American and has been inducted into Pennsbury, Westchester, and several other collegiate halls of fame. Following graduation, Roger has coached wrestling at New York University and Bloomsburg University. His teams have won the Eastern Wrestling League Championships on 2 occasions and the PSAC Championship 8 times. Roger assists blind athletes in their athletic participation, is the wrestling coordinator for the United States Association for Blind Athletes, and has officiated in the Paralympic International Games. We are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Roger Sanders.
I'd like to congratulate all the inductees. For me, this is an awesome thing. And I'm so grateful and humbled, actually, to be part of this tonight. And I have to start by, first of all, I have to thank this young lady here for 50 years taking care of me, let me do it, let me do what I wanted to do. And she's the whole reason. And there's 2 other people here that were really important to me, and I didn't realize it until I matured a little bit. One was Mr. Kane, Coach Kane. Chuck, where are you? Did he leave? Whoa, whoa. And Mrs. Knapp, Mrs. Napolitano. Okay. And her husband, Vic, very big influence on my life. And Chuck came to us when I was a senior at Pennsbury, and he was the line coach. And at the end of the season, sometime during my senior year, he comes up to me and he says, "Look, you come with me, we're going to go to Westchester." So that was it. I went to see a lot of schools, and that was where I decided to go. And he was the big influence. The thing that really turned me on, though, about the Westchester tradition, etc., was his coaching style. He was like, there's a lot of Westchester people in here tonight. Anyhow, but Dr. Killinger and Bonder and Chuck Kane, they came out of the same mold, because there's a yelling, screaming, all that kind of stuff, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved every minute of it. So I have to thank those people. I thought I'd do something a little different tonight too, because I don't know, a lot of people in here I don't know. And so just as a little bit of a background, I was born in Michigan. My dad was in a steel mill there. We moved to West Virginia, and where he was going to make himself and us rich. Because it was a time when he bought a coal truck, and he was carrying coal out of West Virginia onto the trains, etc., etc., etc. Well, that didn't work out, so we moved to Pennsylvania, and we actually moved to Pendel, first of all, right across from that bowling alley. And I went to Our Lady of Grace, and it was my first time in a Catholic school, so that's where I have a little cauliflower ear, and that's where I got it. So I had Sister John Marita, I'll never forget it. Anyhow, the crazy part about it is that I could have been going to the Neshaminy, and thank goodness I didn't have to do that. Anyhow, in West Virginia, I was in a two-room schoolhouse. It was the first grade, the second grade, and the third grade in one room, and the fourth grade, the fifth grade, and the sixth grade. And that was it. And there was, I don't know, 6 or 7 people in each line. Now, and I love to teach, but I think back to that now, and I think, wow, no wonder I didn't learn anything. I was paying attention to everybody else's class. So it was amazing, but that was amazing to me. When we started at Pennsbury, in 8th grade, I went out for football and played junior high and so on and so forth. And then in 10th grade, I went out, I was in the varsity halfway during the season. Actually, it was against the Neshaminy. I ended up starting as a fullback. And we actually won the game, and people back at our table were talking about Vermont Sido, who kicked the extra point to beat the Neshaminy 7-6. And that was a big, big thrill. But the football thing happened this way, is that Thanksgiving, we always played Marshville, and I was on the kickoff team. Crazy ones ran down the field, you know, and I caught my small finger caught in the guy's pants that was running down. He lowered his shoulder, my hand slid down his back, went in his pants, and my fingers holding it down like this. So I go on the sideline, and I know a lot of you people know Mr. Matuza. He was this big. But I said, "Coach, look, there's something wrong here." He says, "Roger, we just tape it up and get back out on the field." And that was it. But and what this is leading into is wrestling comes in the winter, right after Thanksgiving. So I said to my father, I said, "Dad, I'm going to go out for wrestling." He says, "No, you're not." I said, "Oh, okay." because when we lived in West Virginia, on Saturday nights, we would go up in town. There was 200 people in this town. And my mom and dad went to play canasta with these people and so on. And they had a little black and white TV about this big. But every time the pro wrestling came on, they all came in and they watched what was going on. And my dad says, "You're not doing that." My dad still thinks it was fake. You know, I mean, he's telling me, "You can't, I don't want you involved in something like this." So I say, "Do you mind if I go and just work out and for fitness and be in shape and so on and so forth?" I finally talked him into that. So I start going to practice. Well, I go to practice and I eliminate the first time. I'm just a 10th grader wrestling against a senior. And I'm winning the elimination and I'm getting cocky, I guess. I put a half Nelson on the guy and he rolled me to my back. Boom, I'm bent. So I lose the first wrestle off. Then I make the team. And I had my first 6 matches, I had 5 pins. And that's when the Lower Bucks County paper puts it in and talks about this 10th grader that's pinning people. Well, some person that my dad worked with at the steel mill brings the paper into my dad, gives it to him, he reads the paper, and I think he left work early that day. And he came home and he said, "Come on, we need to talk." He gives it to me, he said, and come back in his back bedroom, and he beat me there. So, just kidding. But anyhow, and so during this time though, the guys would pick me up to go to the matches. And so I'd throw my gym bag out the window, run around in front of the house, pick it up, and jump in the car. So, but anyhow, my dad became the best, the greatest fan that you would ever want to see. He never missed a match. My mom always missed matches because she went out in the hallway and she stands like this. She never watched them until I got to college. But my dad became a great, great fan. And then, after I graduated from Westchester, I took a job at Palmyra High School. Matter of fact, my wife and I got married, Nancy and I got married on a Saturday. We drove to Palmyra right by Hershey, and I interviewed on a Monday. That's our honeymoon, from Saturday to Monday, and took the job there, and that's where we started. And I taught there for 2 years, and then I went to NYU for 5 years, and I was so lucky there that they gave me the position. They were like 3 and 32 or something, and I was fortunate that we had 5 really good seasons, and so on and so forth. And then the break that I got was to go to Bloomsburg. So I taught at Bloomsburg for 31 years, and I was the head coach of wrestling for 21 of those 31 years. And during that time, we were very lucky. We had great kids, and I was fortunate enough to have 2 kids. Well, we had 3 national champions at the school, Division I now, Little Bloomsburg, and we had 3 national champions there, and she read the other things. I feel so lucky, just so lucky to be successful in doing the things that I love to do. And I will touch on the USABA, United States Association for Blind Athletes. It was 10 years I did this, and the goal was to get wrestling back into the Paralympics. And so I went all over the country for the United States. And the blind schools there were good. Those kids, they were wrestling. And I had to go internationally to address all the other countries. And it came back this way. We tried to get them to do it, and their answer was, wrestling is too hard, too tough. And the kids that we all have won't want to do that. So that was basically the end of it. So I get in in Atlanta, when the Olympics were there, the Paralympic Games were there, I was picked to be an official for a game that was kind of like hockey or soccer, and they would put eyelids on or blinders on them, and the people would roll the ball like bowling, and to try and get into the nets. But anyhow, I get picked to do the bronze medal for goalball, and that was one of the big thrills of my life, actually. And it was just neat to work with those people. And so, and we had a lot of experiences, Nancy and I did. And I had to tell you that I love to teach. And fortunately, there's a couple of people here that I have in class. I loved every minute of it. And when I finally retired, and I've been retired now for 13 years, but my career was great. But I will tell you this place, the Lower Bucks County, was the foundation for my success. And I am so thankful for that, And to be inducted, as I said, I'm thrilled, I'm honored, and I think it's one of the great things here. And I really appreciate being chosen to be able to be in this Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Brian Scott, Central Bucks East. Central Bucks East remembers Brian as one of the finest three-sport athletes in their history. He received 9 letters in football, basketball, and track. In football, he was named to the All-League, District 1, and All-State teams. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Pennsylvania, a Parade All-American, a USA Today Player of the Year, and the AP Big School Player of the Year. Brian rushed for more than 3,000 yards in his high school career. In basketball, he averaged 21 points a game and was named to the All-League and District 1 teams. On the track team, he was the state medalist in the 100 meters. In football, he was a 4-year letterman at Penn State. Brian had a 10-year career in the NFL, playing for the Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, New Orleans Saints, and Tennessee Titans. Brian created the nonprofit Pick Your Passion Foundation to encourage youth participation in the performing arts in underserved communities. He was inducted into the CB East Hall of Fame, and we are pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Brian Scott.
Hello and good evening. Thank you so much for this honor. First, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life. I want to say thank you to Coach Skino, who nominated me for this. And I want to congratulate the class of 2016. I would also like to thank the selection committee for selecting us. And when I say us, I'm not necessarily just talking about the individuals that make up the class of 2016. I noticed that there's a common theme tonight that all of the inductees are talking about, and it's family. F-A-M-I-L-Y. Family. You see, my late high school coach, Coach Larry Green, he would always stress the importance of every player, every play. We need all 11 players, every single play. And something like that you take, and it's not just when you talk about football, it's when you talk about life, because it really takes a village. And this young man, I've had the privilege and the blessing, starting at home with my parents, and then it branching out. Back there at that table, guys that I grew up with, played Pee Wee football with, my pastor that I grew up with, families that when my parents weren't there to take me to practice and to games, they would come and they would pick me up. Family, F-A-M-I-L-Y, because it takes a village. So as I stand here tonight and I say thank you for this, for us, it's everyone that has played a part, no matter how big, no matter how small, is the reason why I'm standing up here tonight. And thank you for that. When I got drafted, I would always hear people say, Brian, once you get drafted, don't forget about the little people. But little did they know that the little people were the big people in my life. And that's always continued to be the case. Family. F-A-M-I-L-Y. What does that mean? Forget about me. I love you. Thank you.
Our next inductee is not only a longtime friend of mine, but a person who may not realize that he was an amazing inspiration to me throughout my coaching and teaching career. Walt Snyder. Walt graduated from Danville High School, where he lettered in football, basketball, and baseball. At East Stroudsburg, he continued to be an outstanding football and baseball player. Walt began his teaching career at Woodrow Wilson High School. After 7 years as an assistant coach in football, he became the head coach at Council Rock High School. In his 20-year career, Walt produced 13 winning seasons and 5 league championships, compiling over 100 wins. Walt coached in the Big 33 game and was head and assistant coach in Bucks County All-Star Football Classic. Walt was named Coach of the Year and was elected to the Pennsylvania Scholastic Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame. He was also inducted into the Council Rock Hall of Fame. As a result of his dedication in the classroom and on the playing fields, the stadium at Council Rock was named in his honor. We're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Walt Snyder.
I am completely humbled and totally honored just to be in this same room with all the fellow inductees. To be inducted into the Hall of Fame in your presence, with all of our families and friends, and all of the late and great inductees of the past, makes it a double honor for me. And I thank God for every blessing that He's given me throughout my lifetime. I would like to share this honor with my coaches. A good head coach is only as good as the coaches that he surrounds himself with. Several of my coaches are here tonight: Bruce English, Jack Clevey. I would also like to share this honor with the players that played for me. You know, when this was announced, I got some really nice tributes on the computer, on the internet, and I'm not very good with that kind of stuff, but tonight, if you look at table number 9 back there, next to my table, my buddy said that he has 10 fat football players from the 1972 football team that are going to be here to honor you. And you know, my philosophy in coaching football has never changed. I really believe that football is life. There's more to football than X's and O's. There's more to football than wins and losses. I think as a football coach, you have to teach a young boy through the trials and tribulations that he goes through playing football and all the hard work and effort he has to put in to become a young man. Yes. And that someday in the society, in the community where he lives, he will be a positive influence on that community. And as far as I'm concerned, the icing is on the cake back there. Players from Council Rock, players from Woodrow Wilson, the first school that I coached at, a manager from Woodrow Wilson, the first school that I coached at. I have been truly blessed in my lifetime. And I would like to thank my family. My daughter Wendy is here with her husband Todd. Wendy teaches at Council Rock School District. Her husband Todd wears the football hat. He still coaches in Lenape Valley, and he also played quarterback for North Penn a long, long time ago. And their 2 sons, my grandsons, Zach and Logan Nelson, both are and were outstanding athletes at Central Bucks East. Zach broke every passing record in the school. He is now at Westchester University and is into ROTC. He wants to serve our country. And I am really proud of him for that. It scares me, though, the way our world is in the fate of our world right now. His brother, Logan, is an outstanding receiver, wide receiver, and an outstanding lacrosse player right now at Central Bucks East. He will graduate and go on to Penn State University. And last but not least, in 2 months, it'll be 54 years with the love of my life, my best friend. And I want to thank her for putting up with me and supporting me throughout my career. I want to thank the Bucks County chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for giving this honor. And again, I want to thank my master, my good Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for all the blessings that He's given me. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Guy Stewart. As a Pennsbury athlete, Guy was captain of the basketball team and played on the LBCL championship soccer and track teams. He continued his participation in basketball and track at East Stroudsburg. Guy coached at Willingboro High School and JFK High School before returning to his alma mater. For over 3 decades, he had an illustrious career as he coached the cross-country and track teams. His cross-country teams won 7 league championships and 4 District 1 championships. He coached the individual state champion Donna Gardner in 1974 and 75. His track team won league on 9 occasions and the District 1 championship in 1971. Finished second in the state 3 times. He has been named Coach of the Year on many occasions. For his accomplishments, Guy was inducted into the Pennsbury Hall of Fame, and we're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Guy Stewart.
First of all, I gave Pancho 3 minutes. He owes me big time. I bleed orange or black. I go back to 1957 as a 9th grader at Pennsbury. A long time ago, folks. I'm tired. I had the opportunity to come to Pennsbury and become the coach, track coach, cross-country coach. It was a dream. I had fabulous kids. You don't get records, everybody who has a great record, they have great kids. I can't think of anything else that I would have rather done than be coaching. We're getting together again. I have 50 former track and field and cross-country runners coming together on Saturday. And to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to that. And I can't wait to see them, because that's what it's all about. I also want to thank my wife. She's going to kill me. She put up with, like all the other coaches, all the things that we go through. She also provided her cooking services, and she's a tremendous cook. We used to take the team up to the Poconos, take 15, 20 boys, little skinny little guys. Chuck didn't want them, so I got them. And she cooked for a week. Now, none of those kids came home hungry. And that's something that we did that as a family. I want to thank the committee. I'm absolutely thrilled and humbled, because it's been a long run. Thank you very much.
I spent many sleepless nights trying to figure out how to stop our next inductee, and I must admit that I was not successful even a little bit. Jen Stewart Pateki. Jenny was one of the most prolific field hockey players in the Chamonix High School history. As a starting player on the varsity team, she led her team to 3 league championships. She was named to the All-League First Team and was Bucks County Courier Time Player of the Year in both her junior and senior years. Jenny was chosen to play in the Junior Olympics in 1988, where her team won the gold medal. In her senior year, she was named the National High School All-American. Jenny received a full scholarship to play at Penn State, where she started every game as a midfielder all 4 years. In her time on the team, Penn State advanced to the Final Four twice. She was a member of the United States national team and the junior national team, and played in several international events. Jenny was named Freshman of the Year for the Atlantic 10 Conference and was named to the Collegiate Field Hockey Coaches All-American Regional and National teams in her junior and senior years. Following college, Jenny has coached at the high school level and is a PIAA official. We're pleased to present you for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame, Jenny Stewart Pateki.
Thank you very much. They say they save the best for last. Whoever put me last should be fired. We have major leaguers here, the NFL and MLB, and international players. This is truly a very humbling, place to be. So thank you. Thank you for the nomination. It's an honor to be included with so many wonderful and talented people. People who help shape Bucks County. Mr. Heff, Miss Murphy, Dick Doherty. I'm humbled to be included in your ranks. And I want to thank my family. Get ready, because there's 8, 7, and 6. We're just going to run them down real quick. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, family. I appreciate it. I appreciate being here, rearranging your schedules. My parents, my in-laws, my children, my husband. Thank you so much. I know I don't have time to thank everyone who's helped me through the years, but there are a few people that I must take a few moments to recognize. Pancho took 30 minutes. I feel like I could take 4. This past weekend, sitting at my son's confirmation, the bishop said something that really resonated with me. And he told me, or he's talking to the children, he said, you guys probably see that your parents make sacrifices for you every day, but you really, truly cannot imagine how much they really sacrifice for you. And I immediately thought of my parents. How much did they sacrifice through the years for me that I never noticed? How many times did they choose to go without? Or how many times did they miss out on doing something that they just wanted to do for them? Because like many of you, fellow inductees, I can't remember a time when my parents weren't there. I can't remember a time when they told me I couldn't take advantage of an opportunity, despite sometimes those opportunities came with great costs. Mom and Dad, you always found a way to support me and help me and get wherever I needed to go. Thank you for always providing me with whatever I needed to pursue my goals and my dreams. Your love and your support were essential to my success. As far as my family support goes, I was really lucky. But my luck didn't stop there. I was fortunate to be on one of the most, or play on one of the most, the teams with one of the most talented coaching staff in all of Bucks County. I want to especially thank Ms. Sheila Murphy. Your commitment and dedication to Neshaminy field hockey was nothing short of extraordinary. Your passion for the game was contagious, and your understanding of the game was second to none. I was able to take steps to further my game because of you. You helped me pursue my dreams. It was a privilege to play on your team. I hope that my children, Juliana and Jackson, I told you I'd get you in, will one day be able to experience the same caliber of coaching that I was fortunate to have at Neshaminy. I'm lucky to have a supportive family, great coaches, but my luck didn't stop there. Like many of you, had great teammates that helped push me to aspire to be like them and to become better. I went to Penn State. I played for another great coach, Shar Moret, and she taught me so much and helped me hone my skills so I could play against Michelle, when she was coaching at St. Joe's. It's really just wonderful. And standing here tonight and being accepted into the Bucks County Hall of Fame with the rest of the class of 2016 is something I will treasure and never forget. And I feel lucky again. Thank you very much.
The late Betty Hess was the Pennsbury Aquatics Director for 17 years, the synchronized swimming coach for 43 years, and an international swimming judge. She led the Falconettes to placement in 35 national championships, was a member of the U.S. Synchronized Swimming Governing Body, and 2003 winner of the Lillian McKellar Award for Outstanding Service to the U.S. Synchronized Swimming Team in 2003. She was inducted into the Temple Hall of Fame in 1983. We are pleased to present Betty Hess for induction into the Bucks County Sports Hall of Fame. Accepting from Ms. Hess is Karen McGann.
Good evening. I wanted to thank the selection committee and especially Karen Sangelo for nominating Betty Hess for this award. We lost Betty in 2012 to pancreatic cancer, and she was one of the boldest people I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and she totally thought she was going to beat it and coach for 25 more years. Betty Hess, I don't know if most of you probably have heard her name. She was a staple at Pennsbury. She was bold, determined, dedicated, outspoken, loyal, and fiercely loving. She loved her family, she loved her friends, but more than anything in this entire world, she loved her team. She was so proud of the sport of synchronized swimming. She loved its artistry, its athleticism, but most of all she loved that it helped to mold strong, motivated, exceptional women. Dating back to 1970, when Betty started her team, the Pennsbury Falconettes, the sport of synchronized swimming was in its infancy. She was on the forefront of all of the rules, regulations, and the education. She developed an intense passion to bring the sport into the world arena, and in 1984, she, along with others, had worked tirelessly for it to debut in the Olympic Games. Betty was the highest level of judge for the sport, traveling the world to international events in Germany, Spain, to national events in Hawaii and Seattle, and as close to regional meets in Connecticut and her own backyard, her very beloved Pennsbury Natatorium. She always joked that the pool was built the year I was born. She thinks that's funny. Betty was a well-known fixture in Pennsbury. She was a phys ed and health teacher for over 30 years. She was the aquatics director and worked tirelessly to bring aquatic sports to all of Pennsbury's children. She loved, truly loved aquatic sports. And she was well known for organizing lifeguard competitions all through Bucks County. I don't know if you all knew that, every summer. She was a very tough cookie, and she held incredibly high standards. And the parents of today sometimes had a problem with that. They would be like, "Did you hear what she just said?" I would get the call at home, "She called them." I said, big picture, she's got this. But she never demanded any more from the kids in that pool of excellence than she demanded from herself. Her intense drive and hard work, she gave every bit of herself, and her level of commitment to youth aquatics was fierce and unforgiving, and many an adversary surrendered after a round or two of debate with Betty. Betty put kids and sport first, no exception. She kind of tolerated parents. So it's a little story that I wanted to tell you about her. We were at a national event, and one of her girls, who just happened to be my daughter, she was being treated for cancer, and her big dream that year was, "I'm going to nationals." Betty said, "Okay." So off we went, and while we were there, Meredith lost all of her hair, and synchronized swimming is very particular about where you have to go and what you have to do. So her losing her hair the night of competition, the girls decided to swim in caps. And we painted the signs of the caps, and it said, "We swim for cancer cure." The girls swam, they went to get out, and Meredith could not get out of the pool. The girls turned, they all lifted Meredith out of the pool, and the other judges were like, "What are they doing?" And Betty looks up, she walks right on the deck, she goes, "Those are my girls. Do you have something to say?" And that was the kind of character that Betty was instilling in young women. And she won me over that day, just so you know. Betty has been recognized and honored previously by receiving the Lillian McKellar Award in synchronized swimming for dedication and excellence. She was a very proud member of the Temple University Sports Hall of Fame. She would be incredibly humbled by this honor, and she would have liked the food spread, like she was all into the food spread. So she'd be very proud, and we worked very hard every day. My daughter Meredith and I took over the team when Betty passed, and we try and keep her dream alive by our continued enthusiasm for the sport, reaching higher, striving for complete excellence, and sharing the glory, beauty, and success with young girls in our community. Those of us who have had the sincere pleasure of being a part of Betty's life, we are very grateful, thrilled, and humbled by the honor of this induction, and we've always known how extraordinary she was, and we're moved that the community will now know this as well. And in keeping with Betty's zest for life, I leave you with a quote that's on the back of our team shirts this year. "Little girls with big dreams become women with great vision," and that's who Betty Hess was. Thank you very much.